go over to you and see what you've got there, Farm.
Yeah, I mean, first things first, coming into my long setup for today on NQ, I've got that up here, sweeping out yesterday's low, Friday's low. I think it's worth watching here to see if it bases or at the open. I mean, if it can't find much traction below, this is presumed a 3-day balance until proven otherwise. So, breaking below these 580s, I think with traction, then it's a pretty bad look.
Order
But I mean, if this stays around here and can't really find any traction lower either now, or at cash open, I think it's a rotation easily back up to 670s and possibly even back up here. Just wanted to get that out first since price is sort of sticking around there. And I was looking, I mean, the 60-30s on ES have been well bid. Some important spots there. So first things first. So I did start with the NASDAQ because it has been so weak. I mean, the ES is like just a perfect balanced weekly profile, which we'll get to in a minute. And the NASDAQ is putting in this, what looks to be a double distribution week to the downside. No major damage, of course, right? We're still well above, much of last week's range, but there's some potential, right? And we came up, we took out last week's high, we built some volume up there. We put in an excess high. This was a spike. So a spike ends up being an excess high if we don't end up trading back into it the next day. So it was rejected. So it made things a little bit interesting. And so for the short setup today, it was basically just looking, this happened overnight, and I'm flat from this now, but, coming back up into, basically an LVN, this was, what was that, Monday's low, I suppose. And then the afternoon rally high from yesterday creates a little bit of a low volume node, short to the back test of this and run it down into yesterday's low and Monday's low, which are right at the same spot, which again, to me is presumed to be the bottom of a 3-day balance until proven otherwise. Break that to the downside and continue working back through last week's range. That starts to get a little bit more interesting. And I'm not sure the ES can hold up if we see escalating weakness in NQ. And one of the things about NQ, especially with this data, right? And I kind of agree that ADP is kind of blah. It's hard to put too much weight into ADP. It's not NFP. But if the market is a little bit concerned about this data, like we've seen the last few years, even though NQ has been relatively weak, sometimes the flight to safety is the Qs right now. I mean, not sometimes. In the last 4 years, it always has been. So you could see, a little bit of Emperor Palpatine from NQ. You just never know, right? Where it's just, I'm just too weak, and then it goes unlimited power and just rips back up to these 780s. Reclaims, and it's all the way back at last week's, this week's high by like tomorrow or some crazy nonsense. Like, what surprised me, zero. So I'm not short anywhere near here until we get a break lower than some kind of a retest or something like that. So I would be looking for longs if I wasn't chatting with you right now. So